My name is Sophia Everly, and the information I am about to share with you will forever change the way you perceive life, death, and the world around us. A few months ago, I found myself in a situation I never could have imagined, lying on an operating table, surrounded by doctors desperately fighting to save my life. But at that moment, something extraordinary happened. My spirit left my body, and I embarked on a journey beyond anything I had ever known. I was transported to a place beyond human comprehension, where I stood face to face with Jesus. He revealed chilling visions, frightening glimpses of catastrophic events that would shake the world in 2025. He entrusted me with a message of awakening and preparation for humanity. Among the visions, I saw familiar faces, individuals who play significant roles in shaping the future of our world. Elon Musk and Donald Trump were two of them. This is not just my story. It is a call to spiritual awakening, an urgent plea for preparedness. Let me walk you through the events that unfolded. My name is Sophia Everly, and just like any other day, I awoke, unaware that I was about to experience the most extraordinary day of my life. I had no way of knowing what lay ahead, nor did my family. That morning, an unshakable sense of unease settled over me. I dismissed it as stress or fatigue, the natural result of a life packed with work, family, and personal responsibilities. There was little time to dwell on fleeting emotions when life demanded so much of me. Yet, in hindsight, that unease was a warning, an omen of what was to come. By mid-afternoon, the warning revealed itself in the form of an unbearable pain in my chest. It was sharp, radiating throughout my body like an alarm sounding from within. My husband, sensing the urgency, rushed me to the hospital. By the time we arrived, I could barely speak. The medical team acted swiftly, diagnosing me with a condition that required immediate surgical intervention. Fear gripped me, not just for myself, but for my family. Would I ever see them again? The thought haunted me as they wheeled me into the operating room. Above me, the surgical lights blurred as the anesthesia took hold. But instead of fear consuming me, an unexpected sense of calm washed over me, an unexplainable assurance that everything would be fine. What I didn't realize at that moment was that my body was failing. Despite the medical team's best efforts, I flatlined. This is where my story takes an extraordinary turn. While my physical body lay lifeless on the operating table, I found myself standing in the far corner of the room, watching everything unfold. I saw the frantic efforts of the doctors and nurses, but I felt no fear, no pain. Instead, there was a profound clarity, an awareness that I had separated from my physical form, yet remained fully present. It was surreal, like stepping out of a chaotic, noisy world and into one of absolute peace and understanding. Then, I felt it, a force pulling me away from the operating room. It was not frightening. On the contrary, it felt natural, as if I was meant to follow. Suddenly, I was moving through a tunnel of light. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before, not blinding, but warm and inviting, filled with colors beyond human description. It was more than just a visual experience. It carried an emotion, love, peace, and an unspoken promise that I was safe. As I reached the end of the tunnel, I realized I was not alone. A presence stood before me, radiant, powerful, and familiar. It was Jesus. He was unlike any depiction I had ever seen. He was not just a figure in a white robe. He radiated light, love, and a presence so overwhelming that it transcended all human understanding. When I looked into his eyes, I saw eternity itself. In that gaze, there was infinite wisdom, boundless compassion, and an understanding so deep that it pierced my very soul. What he showed me next would change everything. The voice echoed through every part of my being. Your time has not yet come, but I have something to show you, gaze. The moment Jesus spoke my name, an indescribable sense of love and peace washed over me. It wasn't just his words, it was his very presence. He radiated an energy unlike anything I had ever encountered, a force so profound that it transcended human understanding. As I stood before him, I became fully aware that I was in a realm beyond anything I had ever known. It was as if I had stepped into a higher dimension where time and space no longer held meaning. Jesus extended his hand toward me, and although he did not speak aloud, I understood with complete clarity that he wanted to show me something. In an instant, we began to move, not by walking, not by flying, but simply transitioning effortlessly. The world around us faded, dissolving into a new reality, and before me unfolded a panoramic vision of the future. At first glance, the earth appeared vibrant, full of life and energy. But lurking beneath this beauty, shadows stretched ominously, signaling impending turmoil. The first vision Jesus revealed to me was a series of cataclysmic events, towering earthquakes reducing entire cities to rubble, violent storms tearing through coastlines, raging fires consuming vast forests, and people running in sheer terror, faces frozen in fear and desperation. Yet amidst the chaos, Jesus' presence remained unwavering, a beacon of hope in the darkness. His voice resonated within me, explaining that these were not acts of divine punishment, but urgent wake-up calls to humanity, reminders that the world had strayed too far from the light. As the vision progressed, I saw individuals who would play critical roles during these turbulent times. One of them was Elon Musk. Surrounded by highly advanced technology, he tirelessly worked to find solutions for humanity's survival. Jesus revealed that Musk's innovations possessed immense potential, capable of both saving lives and causing destruction. These innovations posed a dual challenge, serving as a stark reminder that spiritual wisdom must guide even the most remarkable progress. Next, I saw Donald Trump standing on a grand podium, addressing a divided nation. His words carried immense weight, stirring both admiration and controversy. Jesus explained that Trump's role was not merely political, it was a test of humanity's unity and resilience. Whether loved or despised, his presence served as a catalyst for change, urging people to look beyond politics and focus on collective growth. Throughout it all, Jesus emphasized one critical truth: spiritual preparedness was the key to survival. He reminded me that humanity's greatest strength did not lie in technology, power, or wealth, but in their connection to the divine. He urged them to wake up, to recognize that only through alignment with the light could they navigate the challenges ahead. Jesus looked at me, his expression filled with both compassion and urgency. Then he began to speak, not with words, but in a way that resonated deep within my soul. His voice carried a weight so profound that it felt as if the fate of the universe depended on that very moment. Sophia, the world is on the brink of change, and I have selected you to share a message with those who are open to hearing it. I could feel his divine authority in every word. He explained that humanity was about to enter a period of great tribulation, a time of trials and revelations. He emphasized that the year 2025 would be a pivotal moment in history, a crossroads where faith and choices would determine the fate of the planet. The challenges ahead would be unlike anything humanity had ever faced. As he spoke, the visions intensified. I saw more natural disasters, each one more vivid and terrifying than the last. Earthquakes tore through the foundations of cities, leaving behind nothing but devastation. Hurricanes swept across the land, obliterating everything in their path. The air was filled with cries of despair, echoes of suffering that seemed unending. But then, amid the chaos, I saw something extraordinary. Scattered throughout the world were pockets of light, communities formed not by fear, but by faith. These were people who, despite the destruction, found strength in their spiritual connection, who chose love over fear, unity over division. In those places, hope flourished, and darkness could not prevail. Jesus explained that these trials were not meant to destroy, but to strip away illusions, to reveal what truly mattered, and to awaken those who had lost their way. And then he showed me more. Jesus revealed that the purpose of these trials was to remove humanity's distractions and restore them to their spiritual essence. He assured me that this was not the end, but rather a rebirth, a chance for humanity to rediscover its true purpose. As he continued, he unveiled the spiritual side of what was happening. He encouraged me to share the message of preparedness, not one rooted in fear or panic, but in awakening. He wanted people to understand that they held the power to transform their circumstances through prayer, kindness, and unity. He reminded me that within every person burns a divine spark, a fragment of God's light capable of guiding them, if only they chose to listen. Then, Jesus showed me the roles that certain individuals would play during this transformational period. Elon Musk appeared once again, surrounded by groundbreaking technology. He worked tirelessly, and his innovations brought hope to many. However, Jesus warned that technology alone could not save humanity. Wisdom and compassion guided the greatest achievements, ensuring they fell short. Musk's work had immense potential, but it had to be wielded responsibly, ensuring that it served the greater good rather than leading people further from their spiritual path. Next, Donald Trump came into focus, standing before a deeply divided audience. Jesus explained that the mixed reactions to him, both admiration and criticism, reflected humanity's internal struggle. Trump was not just a political figure. He was a test, a representation of the choices people would make. His presence challenged humanity to rise above their differences and find common ground. Pray for him, Jesus urged, for he too plays a role in this great unfolding. As Jesus shared these profound insights, the enormity of the task ahead of me settled heavily upon my heart. The message was unambiguous. People's choices shaped humanity's future, not a predetermined one. Their actions, their beliefs, and their willingness to seek the truth would determine the course of events. Jesus instructed me to return to my body and deliver this message. He emphasized the urgency of spiritual preparation, saying, "Tell them to awaken." Only by aligning with the light will they endure the storms ahead. As he spoke, I became immersed in a series of vivid, prophetic visions, not abstract or symbolic, but strikingly clear, unfolding like scenes from a film. These were glimpses of 2025, revealing the challenges that lay ahead. Each vision was not merely a warning, but a call to action. The first vision was of the earth itself, I witnessed massive earthquakes tearing through cities, splitting the ground apart, reshaping entire landscapes in an instant. These were not haphazard calamities, but deliberate alerts, serving as urgent reminders of humanity's vulnerability and reliance on the divine. The next scene revealed an even greater crisis. The oceans rose and colossal tsunamis crashed into the shores, swallowing entire towns and displacing countless people. I could feel the raw fear and despair of those affected, yet amidst the devastation, I also witnessed something incredible: hope. I witnessed strangers helping one another, communities uniting in acts of selflessness, and people choosing compassion over chaos. Jesus emphasized that even in the midst of destruction, love and unity would be humanity's greatest strengths. But then another wave of devastation arrived: the storms. I saw hurricanes of unimaginable power ripping through cities, leaving trails of ruin in their wake. Yet, even in the aftermath, I saw families kneeling in prayer, neighbors rebuilding together, and people finding strength in their faith. Jesus reassured me, these storms are not punishments. They are opportunities, chances for humanity to come together, to rediscover its unity. Then the sky above shifted. Darkness loomed, thick and ominous, and the heavens seemed to stir. Strange lights and celestial phenomena flickered across the expanse, filling people with both fear and wonder. Many stood frozen, staring upward, unsure of what they were witnessing. Jesus turned to me and spoke with deep conviction. These signs are meant to awaken humanity to the spiritual realm, to remind them that life is far greater than what they see or understand. And with that, I knew this was only the beginning. Images of political and social unrest finally caught my attention. The streets were filled with protests as people clashed over their beliefs and ideologies. The division seemed to deepen, threatening to tear nations apart. Yet, even in this chaos, Jesus showed me glimpses of rising light, leaders who bridged divides, individuals who sought understanding rather than conflict, and a growing collective yearning for harmony. Throughout these visions, Jesus' presence remained constant and reassuring. He reminded me that humanity had the power to overcome these challenges if they chose to align with the divine. His words echoed in my heart. Tell them about me. Now is the time to act. They must recognize and embrace their purpose. As the visions began to fade, the message became clear. Humanity must choose love over fear and prepare their souls for what lay ahead. A profound sense of responsibility settled upon me. I knew that sharing this message would not be easy, but it was a task I had been assigned. Then, in my heart, I heard his voice once more. You are not alone. I am with you, and through you, I will reach many. I returned to my body with those final words. My spirit underwent a permanent transformation, despite my physical form remaining unchanged. Jesus clarified my mission and focused on Elon Musk, a globally recognized man, as the visions continued. In the vision, Musk stood in the midst of a futuristic, high-tech environment, surrounded by advanced machines. His focus was unwavering, his mind orchestrating a plan to address the enormous challenges facing humanity. This was a time of immense tribulation, and Musk's work, particularly in renewable energy and space exploration, appeared to play a crucial role in humanity's survival. Jesus explained that Musk's role in the future was both critical and complex. He possessed unparalleled ingenuity, a mind capable of extraordinary feats. But then Jesus gave a solemn warning. Technology, no matter how advanced, cannot be humanity's salvation. Technology serves as a tool, but without spiritual guidance and ethical responsibility, it can lead to misuse. In the vision, Musk was working on global energy solutions amid a world ravaged by crisis and climate-related disasters. I saw vast solar farms, clean energy systems, and an advanced transportation network designed to sustain a rapidly changing planet. His determination was undeniable, but so was the immense weight of his responsibility. Jesus reminded me that while Musk's contributions could alleviate suffering, they could never replace humanity's need to reconnect with its spiritual essence. What struck me most was the delicate balance Musk was walking. His work appeared to be at a pivotal point, with the potential to either unite people in hope or divide them in fear, contingent on how humanity chooses to engage with it. Jesus then spoke with tremendous clarity. We must use genius wisely. Without compassion and spiritual awareness, even the brightest mind can lead others into darkness. The vision continued, and I saw Musk addressing a room full of world leaders. People packed the space, their eyes fixed on Musk as he presented a revolutionary solution to one of humanity's most pressing problems. His ideas challenged conventional thinking, stirring both awe and skepticism. Jesus explained that Musk's role was not just to create, but also to inspire and push humanity beyond its limitations. Innovation, he said, was necessary for survival, but it could never replace the deeper, spiritual truth that must guide humanity's progress. Then, Jesus issued one final warning. Do not place your faith in one man alone. Do not idolize him. He is a component of the puzzle, not the entire solution. Humanity must remember, true salvation is found not in technology, not in power, and not in human achievement, but in their connection to the divine. As the vision shifted, I saw another figure, a presence both polarizing and significant. Donald Trump stood at the center of a crowded stage, addressing a nation that appeared to be deeply divided. His words were powerful and commanding, stirring a mix of unity and discord. Jesus revealed that Trump's role during this period of tribulation was not merely political. It was a reflection of the human spirit, both its strengths and its weaknesses. In the vision, I saw Trump rallying people to take action during a time of enormous upheaval. He spoke of resilience, determination, and the importance of protecting what mattered most. His speeches ignited passion, some inspiring, some to come together while pushing others further apart. Jesus explained that Trump's role was not to provide answers, but to challenge people to seek them within themselves. Leadership, he reminded me, is a reflection of those who choose it. Trump's presence in the vision symbolized the choices humanity must make, requiring deep discernment to look beyond the surface and seek the greater truths within any situation. Jesus emphasized that the divisions Trump often sparked were not merely political, but spiritual. They reflected humanity's ongoing struggle to reconcile differences and find common ground. A striking scene unfolded before me. Trump stood in a room filled with advisors, engaged in intense debate over strategies to handle an impending crisis. The atmosphere was tense, the stakes impossibly high. Jesus explained that while Trump's decisions would have far-reaching consequences, the ultimate outcome was not his alone to determine. It rested on the collective will of the people. Pray for him, Jesus urged. His path intertwines with yours. Your choices will shape your future. The vision made it clear that Trump's role was not about personal power, but about awakening people to their own. Whether they supported him or opposed him, his presence served as a catalyst for introspection, action, and transformation. Jesus reminded me of an eternal truth. No leader, no matter how powerful, can single-handedly change the course of humanity. It is the hearts of the people that will determine their future. True leadership begins within. After witnessing so many intense and overwhelming visions of tribulation, Jesus granted me a glimpse of something truly extraordinary, heaven. It was as if the chaos and turmoil I had just seen had vanished, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace and beauty beyond words. I will do my best to describe it. Heaven was a place of radiant light, vibrant colors, and perfect harmony, something beyond anything on earth. Even the air itself seemed alive, carrying a melody that resonated deep within my soul. The scenery was awe-inspiring, featuring endless expanses of vibrant flowers, pristine rivers, and towering mountains that extended in all directions. Every blade of grass, every drop of water radiated divine energy, as if infused with God's love. And then I saw them, loved ones who had passed away. Their faces shone with an indescribable radiance, their eyes filled with joy and understanding. They did not need words to communicate. Instead, their emotions and presence conveyed a deep sense of belonging, an unspoken connection that transcended all language. At that moment, I felt as though I had finally come home. Jesus stood beside me and spoke softly. This is more than just a place. Heaven is not far away. It is a reflection of the divine within all of you. It resides within you, awaiting your realization. He demonstrated to me that love, forgiveness, and spiritual awakening make heaven accessible even now. But then, in stark contrast to heaven's beauty, Jesus revealed another reality, the truth of hell. It was not the fiery pit I had imagined, but rather a realm of profound emptiness and despair. The atmosphere was thick, suffocating, filled with an overwhelming sense of sorrow and loss. An overwhelming sense of isolation consumed everything. There was no light, no warmth, only a suffocating void where hope could not exist. The souls I witnessed in hell were not being punished by an external force. Rather, they were trapped by their own actions, locked in endless cycles of regret, anger, and denial. Jesus explained that they could not escape the darkness they had created for themselves. Hell, he revealed, is not a place where God sends people, but a state of separation from Him, a consequence of their own rejection of His love. Yet, even in the depths of such despair, Jesus reminded me of an eternal truth. There's always hope for redemption. My light can reach even the darkest places if they choose to accept it. The vision of hell was a sobering reminder of the immense value of spiritual alignment and the consequences of turning away from divine love. After witnessing heaven's indescribable beauty and the harsh reality of hell, and receiving a message from Jesus himself, I was suddenly faced with a choice. Standing in that radiant realm of peace, clarity, and pure love, I felt the weight of the world I had left behind. Then, Jesus turned to me, his expression calm but resolute, and spoke, "Sophia, your journey here has not yet ended. You must return." At first, I hesitated. Who wouldn't? Heaven was everything the human soul could ever desire. Perfect love, peace, and connection. The thought of leaving it behind to return to a broken world, to my frail earthly body, filled me with sorrow. But Jesus spoke again, this time with greater urgency. The message you carry is critical. People must hear it through you. It was then that I realized this mission was never about me alone. It was about humanity. Jesus assured me that I would not be alone, that he would guide me every step of the way. Yet, as the radiant light around me began to fade, I felt an indescribable sadness. The warmth of heaven dissolved into a cold sterility, and then I woke up. Gasping for air, my body convulsed as I re-entered the physical world. The sudden return was shocking and painful. Medical personnel rushed around me, their voices urgent. My muscles ached and my chest burned, as if someone had forced me back into a confining shell. The rhythmic beeping of machines monitoring my vitals filled the room. I slowly opened my eyes and saw the stunned expressions of the doctors and nurses who had worked tirelessly to save me. They had no idea where I had been. They had no idea what I had seen. As full consciousness returned, a flood of emotions overtook me. First, relief. I was alive. Then I felt an almost unbearable longing for the peace I had experienced in heaven. Returning to this world felt like waking from a beautiful dream into a harsh reality. But then I remembered Jesus' words. I remembered why I had come back. My recovery astounded the medical staff. One nurse, still in disbelief, shook her head and whispered, "Sophia, we've given you another chance." She had no idea how profoundly true her words were. During my recovery, I struggled to process everything I had experienced. My body was weak, but my mind and spirit felt stronger than ever, almost vibrating with energy. I knew what I had to do. I had to share my story. But where would I even begin? Would anyone believe me? Could I find the words to truly capture what I had seen? When I first told my husband about the visions and Jesus' message, he was skeptical. He assumed it was nothing more than a hallucination, a side effect of trauma or medication. But as I recounted the details, things I could never have known or imagined, his disbelief began to waver. Tears welled up in his eyes as I described Jesus' voice, filled with love and urgency. "You have received a gift," he finally said. "You need to share it." As my strength gradually returned, so did an overwhelming sense of purpose. A deep conviction stirred within me, urging me to capture everything I had seen and experienced. I started writing fervently, transferring my visions, Jesus' words, and the emotions that profoundly affected me onto the paper. The process was both healing and overwhelming. Each time I revisited the memories, I felt their weight all over again. Encouraged by my family, I made a bold decision. I had to share my story, not just with those closest to me, but with the world. My first step was a simple social media post. I shared my near-death experience, my encounter with Jesus, and the urgent message I received. I expected a few reactions, maybe some curiosity or skepticism, but what happened next stunned me. The response was immediate and overwhelming. People from all walks of life reached out, some to express gratitude, others to share their own experiences. The warnings about 2025 shook many, leaving them with an inexplicable sense of confirmation. As my story spread, I heard from countless individuals who found hope and guidance in my words. Invitations started pouring in: churches, community gatherings, small prayer circles. Each time I spoke, I could see the impact. I moved some listeners to tears. Others felt inspired to deepen their faith, to seek God with a new sense of urgency. It was humbling to realize that my words, guided by the divine message I'd received, were truly changing lives. But not everyone was receptive. Skeptics dismissed my experience as a hallucination or fabrication. Others criticized me for mentioning figures like Elon Musk and Donald Trump in my vision. Yet, in my heart, I knew the truth. I chose to focus on those who were willing to listen. As the story continued to spread, something remarkable happened. A shift, a movement, a spiritual awakening. Across the United States, communities began to unite. Churches reported an increase in attendance. Prayer groups, once dwindling, grew in size and passion. Even secular organizations started discussing the importance of faith, resilience, and preparedness. I could still see the deep political, social, and cultural divisions I had witnessed in my vision. But I also saw something new, a growing desire to look beyond differences, to focus on what truly mattered: love, compassion. There is a common goal. It was as if Jesus' message was stirring something dormant within people, awakening them in ways they hadn't expected. When I received an invitation to speak at a conference of interfaith leaders, representatives from various religions and spiritual traditions, it was one of the most profound moments. They had come together to discuss how they could collaborate, how they could guide their communities through the turbulent times ahead. As I shared my story, I saw understanding in their eyes. Despite their differing beliefs, they recognized something universally true in Jesus' message. Humanity's greatest strength comes not from division, but from our connection to the divine and to one another. The awakening extended beyond religious circles. Even those who had never considered themselves spiritual began searching for deeper meaning. People turned to meditation, gratitude, and acts of service. It was as if a ripple effect had begun, spreading farther than I ever could have imagined. Through it all, I remained steadfast. Deep down, I understood the weight of my responsibility, knowing that this awakening was only the beginning. The challenges of 2025 loomed ahead, but one truth became undeniably clear. Humanity had the power to overcome them. Despite the uncertainty, I held on to hope. I believed that a future built on love and light was possible. As my story continued to spread, it became evident that not everyone was ready to accept the message I carried. For every wave of gratitude and inspiration, there was also a wave of doubt and criticism. Media coverage soon followed, interviews with both supporters and skeptics. Some praised my courage, while others dismissed my experience altogether. They questioned my authenticity, asking, why mention names like Elon Musk and Donald Trump? Why should we believe this is more than just a vivid dream? At first, the criticism stung. After all, I was only human. Sharing such a deeply personal and sacred experience left me vulnerable to attacks. There were moments when doubt crept in, like a shadow. But each time it did, I remembered Jesus' words. Not everyone will hear, but for those who do, it will change everything. That realization shifted my perspective. My mission was never about convincing everyone. It was about planting seeds of faith. Those who were willing to listen would find hope, guidance, and the chance to prepare, and the hope was undeniable. People profoundly touched by the event poured in with messages. Some found inspiration to implement positive changes, while others revived their spiritual practices. I heard stories of families reconnecting, individuals finding comfort in prayer for the first time in years, and entire communities strengthening their bonds. I realized then that the vision I had been shown was not merely a warning. It was a roadmap to a better future. Even the critics, in their own way, served a purpose. By challenging my story, They kept the conversation alive. Discussions about spirituality, technology, and leadership took center stage in forums, podcasts, and even mainstream media. People began asking questions they had never considered before. For many, these questions became the spark that led them to seek their own truths. Despite the challenges, hope remained. For every story of transformation, for every community that united in faith, the mission felt more meaningful. Yes, the criticism was unrelenting, but I understood that it was a minor inconvenience. The message had reached those who needed to hear it, and for that I was deeply, profoundly grateful. As 2025 approached, I noticed a shift, not only within myself, but in the world around me. What began as a personal revelation had transformed into a collective movement. I was no longer delivering the message to individuals alone. Entire communities were listening across the United States and beyond. A wave of spiritual awakening and unity began to rise. People were realizing the power they held, their ability to choose love over fear. Reports flooded in from churches, spiritual centers, and interfaith gatherings. Prayer groups and meditation circles swelled in attendance. But it wasn't just about faith. It was about action. Communities banded together, sharing resources, supporting one another, and discussing how to navigate the coming trials with grace and resilience. And then something unexpected happened. Often blamed for division, technology has evolved into a tool for connection. Social media, once filled with conflict, became a platform for spreading light. I saw people sharing messages of encouragement, organizing virtual prayer meetings, and offering help to those in need. Even Elon Musk, whose role in my vision had sparked heated debate, began addressing global challenges in ways that resonated with the message of unity. His work, rooted in science, began to align with a higher purpose. It became clear this awakening was not just spiritual, it was practical. People began to prepare. I spoke of the tribulations, not with fear, but with wisdom and foresight. Communities came together to develop plans for mutual support during natural disasters, and individuals turned their focus towards sustainability and resilience. It was as if the visions Jesus had shown me inspired more than just belief. They inspired action. Through it all, I felt a deep and overwhelming sense of gratitude. People were not ignoring the message I had received. Humanity was responding, not perfectly, but earnestly, each person in their own way. And in that response, I saw the seeds of the brighter future Jesus had promised. This was a future where love and unity would prevail, even in the midst of trials. As the year 2025 drew closer, I reflected on the many challenges that lay ahead. The journey since my near-death experience had been anything but easy, but it had been transformative. Jesus' message had reached far and wide, touching lives in ways I could never have predicted. Yet, I knew the road ahead was still long. The trials humanity faced were temporary, but the lessons learned would endure. Each day, I sought guidance through prayer, asking Jesus what I should do next. His response was always the same: keep sharing, keep loving, trust in the divine. I took his words to heart, dedicating my life to spreading his message and upholding the truths he had revealed to me. It was a humbling mission, one that required faith and perseverance, but it was also deeply fulfilling. Along the way, I experienced incredible moments, deep encounters that served as a reminder of my return. During a community event where I shared my story with hundreds of people, a young woman approached me, tears streaming down her face. "Your message saved my life," she whispered. I was lost, but hearing your story reminded me of the love and light I had forgotten. Her words stayed with me. They reminded me of my purpose, to reach those in desperate need of hope. Jesus' vision had never been about destruction. It was about transformation. The trials of 2025 were not meant to bring despair, but to wake humanity up, to help people rediscover their connection to the divine and to one another. And every day, I saw that transformation unfolding. I witnessed people turning to prayer, supporting each other, and choosing faith over fear. I saw communities uniting, hearts opening, and lives changing. Yes, difficulties still lay ahead, but I also knew with absolute certainty that humanity was strong enough to endure. The love and unity I had witnessed in my visions were more than just possibilities. They were realities awaiting acceptance. Jesus' message was clear. You are not alone. The light is within you. Together, you can create a world filled with hope, love, and divine purpose. So I pressed forward. I continued to share, to live the mission, and to trust in the divine plan. The road ahead remained uncertain, but it was also filled with promise. We could face anything if we walked it together with love, faith, and hope.